Between the time when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Ares, there was an age undreamed of. And onto this, Conan, destined to join forces with Wolverine and the Punisher against the sinister forces of the sorcerer known as Kulan Gath. It is I, Preston Poulter of Pocket Jacks Comics, who alone can tell thee of his saga. Let me tell you of a tale of high adventure. Avengers issue 2 is here. God, I love this stuff. It's a brand new storyline. I'm already hooked. I love it. I can't wait. Next issue. Come on, let's go. So, cover. Nice looking cover. This was actually the battle from last issue. I don't know why they put it on this cover, but I guess because it looked cool and they had some covers left over. I'm not sure. But, all right. So, we learned that in this issue, Kulan Gath... all right. Here's the story that unites all these desperate elements. Kulan Gath is a sorcerer who's out to summon a great old one, which... And talking, all right, so the guy who wrote the Conan novels was Robert E. Howard, and he was a contemporary, and he was in contact with H.P. Lovecraft, and they did kind of inspire each other. So Robert Howard liked the idea of these kind of sinister gods that H.P. Lovecraft had, so he put some in kind of the Conan setting. And so we now have the sorcerer, Kulan Gath, is now out to summon a great old one, essentially, from beyond the orbit of Pluto. And as I went over in my last review, which you can check out, he needs to amass this big earthen bowl of blood, but not just any blood, not just puny human blood, the blood of people who have killed other people. So, he puts out there this spell to assemble some of the worst, somewhat like Predators, although I'm sure probably, wasn't inspired, but I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Predators. Not bad. It's a pretty decent movie. Adrian Brody as an action hero wasn't quite able to pull off the part, but the plot line of Predators is that the Predators wanted some sport, so they basically rounded up all of these killers from the human population on Earth and put them on essentially a game preserve to hunt them. Pretty good movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. But here, Kulan Gath has put out this spell to gather up, some of the most brutal killers from world history. And then Kulan Gath sacrifices them and adds their blood to his bowl. And so it is that spell of this evil sorcerer that is now plucking from various points in, our world timeline, Conan, from, the ancient times, the Cimmerian, really, he was probably Sumerian, but Cimmerian, together with Wolverine, and then in both issue 1 and issue 2, we get this kind of, by the way, the Punisher's coming. He's coming. He's going to be here any minute. So, we had kind of a cool little entrance on the Punisher right here at the close of issue 2. But there's so much emotion in this story, and that's what I'm interested in stories. I want to see emotion. I want to see people caring about things. And this book delivers. I mean, one, like Conan fucking hates sorcerers and black magic and raw, he is passionate about what he wants, even if it's so if Conan wants money, he's just going to take and grab and get the money. And of course, women, Turns out Conan in the Savage Lands predates political correctness, but of course, in the Savage Lands, women are also formidable opponents. So, we maintain some gender balance there. And then we've got Wolverine. And, the thing about Wolverine, unlike Conan, is Wolverine tends to be a little more apathetic, a little more jaded, but here we're seeing just like a very straightforward, very down-to-business Wolverine, which I'm glad. I didn't want to see Wolverine kind of like doing the rock star thing of being in a cool location and being like, I don't care. This ain't all about this. Check it out, bub. I just wish I was back in a bar. Like, Wolverine is pissed. He's like, rah. And there's this really cool scene where the sorcerer is, men are trying to kill Wolverine, but of course can't really be killed. And he's dueling with the sorcerer, and the sorcerer's like using spells to try and tie him up, but he's like, Hell no, I've got adamantine claws, bitch, and all that stuff. And meanwhile, I love this 2-page spread. This. I may have to borrow this at some point. That is just cool. Look at that. Grr. Like, and you've got this. Is that all you got? And meanwhile, by the way, you find out that Kulan Gath has a Nazi apprentice because, again, he's doing the whole Yog-Shoggoth manipulation of space and time. So he saw this Luftwaffe pilot, possibly, who escaped from fighting Lily Litviak on the Eastern Front in my comic book series, White Lily. We just had a successful Kickstarter for issue 3. Issue 4 is coming up next quarter. That is a complete aside. But, so we have this German Luftwaffe pilot, because, it can't just be that they're really evil and they're going to, summon a great old one and kill all human life on the planet. What would make them even more evil is if they were Nazis. So Kulan Gath summons this Luftwaffe pilot and looks into his mind and says, perfect. So we have evil stitched on top of evil, and so they both have a duel individually with Kulan Gath. Conan fights him, and then Wolverine's fighting him at different times, and he's trying to sacrifice both of them to add their blood to his earthen bowl. And then at the very end of the issue, we introduce the Punisher, and very clear these three are going to start joining forces, and I can't wait to see where this goes. It's really cool. I suggest you check it out. You go all in on this one. This is good stuff right here. I don't care what else Marvel's doing or what else any other writer's doing. This stuff right here, must read. Check it out. If not, turn in your man card. Sorry, I'm having to pass down some rules. If you don't like masculinity and you don't like comic books, then okay, I can understand why you wouldn't want Savage Avengers. But if either of those things are important to you, you should be reading this. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. I've been so used to pumping my Kickstarter, I'm a bit at a loss. I am going to put up a campaign on Indiegogo, so there'll be a link for that down in the description. For those of you who don't like Kickstarter and just want to back White Lily 3 on Indiegogo, there's a link for that. Meanwhile, I'll be coming up with more indie reviews soon, so like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.